Hello, 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 hello. Oh, there we go. Hi, everybody. I'm going to put this mic closer to me. Happy Thursday. I'm going to give people a few minutes here. Welcome. Get yourself comfy, all situated. Thanks for joining me. If you're just popping in, welcome to another edition of Live at 5 with Michael Bach. There should be theme music. I think it should just be, theme music. I hurt my finger. I don't know if I talked about this on Tuesday. I don't remember when I actually did it. This story is really gay. It's really, really gay. So I was cutting some fresh dill from our garden for my scrambled eggs. Gay. And I was using our brand new high expensive knives. Gay. And went right through my finger. And just, you don't need to know the details. It wasn't pretty. So I sort of squeezed it all together and put some bandages. That was fine. And then today, as I was preparing for this, I hit it against something and it started to bleed. And yeah, that's not the gay part. The gay part is just the dill and the knives. But anyway, it's okay. I'm wrapped up. So that's what you're seeing. If you're seeing, then you can see it's bleeding, because what's sexier than blood? It's okay. It's not continuous bleeding, but that's what this is for. Just a little of this makes this hurt less. Welcome if you're just stopping by to a little Live at 5. Tell me who you are. Who are you? And where are you from? Feel free to drop a comment in the comment box, the chat box, whatever it is. I'd love to know. Thank you, Mike. Mike says, ew, David, from Schitt's Creek, of course. Lovely. And if you didn't know, that's my husband, Mike. He's cute. Not keeping him. But feel free, yes, please tell me who you are, where you're from. Drop it in the comment. Love to know who's cyber stalking me today. You're my husband and you're in the other room. Yes, you are. It's not weird at all, right? I'm doing a live feed and my husband is sending me messages from the other room. I feel like Drew Barrymore in Scream. The call is coming from inside the house. Anyway, so today on Live at 5, before I forget one, if you're not already following me, do so. I am at the Michael Bach. Love to connect with you on social media. Also, I have a new book coming out. Super exciting, super gay, called Alphabet Soup, The Quintessential Guide to LGBTQ2+ Inclusion. Will be available March 29th. But you can go today, right now, or when I'm done this video, to alphabetsoup.lgbt and find out everything you want to know about the book, as well as you can get in on a crowdfunding campaign that we have going right now and pick up some pretty sweet swag. So do check it out. Hello, Sam. Welcome to the show. Glad you could join us today. I was just talking about my new book, Alphabet Soup, The Quintessential Guide to LGBTQ2+ Inclusion. So please do go to alphabetsoup.lgbt and check it out. Today on Live at 5, I'm going to talk about safe space, the concept of safe space, and it plays a pretty integral part in the new book. I would love to hear from you. share something in the comments. What does safe space mean to you? And let's get a little dialogue, because I think we don't talk about safe space enough. So the concept of safe space, just for your edification, stems actually originally from the 1960s. The mid-1960s, in gay and lesbian bars, particularly in the Los Angeles area, that were intended to be safe spaces for LGBTQ2 plus people, particularly. Thanks, Sam. Sam supported my book already. Thank you. Sam can stay. The rest of you. So started in gay bars, mid-1960s in Los Angeles, to create a safe space for LGBTQ2 plus people, because it was illegal to be gay or lesbian in Los Angeles in the United States. So these bars created safe spaces where there were elaborate processes, but people could be themselves. And that was later adopted by the women's liberation movement in the 1960s, that took the concept much further. But in essence, the whole concept, and if I look at a definition from Webster's, Merriam-Webster's, it's a place as on a college campus intended to be free of bias, conflict, criticism, or potential threatening actions, ideas, or conversations. And that part about being on a college campus, I think it's an important one, but it has been extrapolated. The concept has been extrapolated. Hi, Moira. Welcome. Hi, Sarah. Lovely. Welcome. Thanks for sharing that. Sarah's just shared a comment, somewhere you can be yourself, which is absolutely great. Yeah, absolutely. It's a space where people can feel safe and they can be who they are. And safety can come in a variety of forms. It can come in physical safety, which is often the first thing people think, but psychological safety, emotional safety. It's a place where you can, as I always say, you can let your freak flag fly and no one is going to judge you. No, Sarah, you did not win a prize. Sarah, bless your heart. Just show up and she thinks she wins a prize. She's cute though, so it's good. If you're just joining me, welcome to Live at 5. Do drop a comment down below. Who are you? Where are you from? And what does safe space mean to you? There are a lot of people that mock the concept of safe space. There's a number of quotes of people who think that, there's one from a guy called Richard Dawkins, who's a UK-based evolutionary biologist, and he tweeted, "A university is not a safe space. If you need a safe space, leave, go home, hug your teddy, and suck your thumb until you're ready for university." Yeah, he seems like a total D-bag. What a jerk to say something like that. I mean, obviously, it goes without saying that he is likely straight, white, able-bodied, and male, and has never experienced any form of discrimination and has zero awareness about his privilege in the world. But when we extrapolate the concept of safe space out to spaces like workplaces, churches, universities and colleges, hospitals, volunteer organizations, it remains pretty much the same conceptually. It is about creating a space where people can be themselves. And yet, some people don't think we need safe spaces. We've moved past that, particularly when it comes to LGBTQ2 plus people. There was a study done by my organization, the Canadian Centre for Diversity and Inclusion, called In and Out, Diverging Perspectives on LGBT Inclusion in the Workplace. It's an old report from 2015. And it found that 67.2% of straight cisgendered respondents to our survey said that there was no discrimination against LGBTQ2 plus people in the workplace. But nearly 70%, well, 62.3%, of LGBTQ2 plus people said that they had either witnessed or experienced discrimination. So there's this dichotomy where straight cisgender people think one thing is going on and LGBTQ2 plus people thing, another thing is going on. And that's not a dig on straight cisgender people. It's just to say, like, if you don't live it, if you don't experience it, if you don't see it, then you don't think it's happening. Hello, Christos. Welcome, Christos. I think that's what it says. Welcome. Thanks for joining. Please do drop a comment down below. What does safe space mean to you? Who are you? Where are you from? Sam's just said not just themselves, but a place where people can be their authentic selves. Absolutely. It's about authenticity. It's about not having to hide any aspect of who you are. And the reality for a lot of straight cis people is that they haven't experienced that. However, women have experienced it. People of color have experienced it. People with disabilities have experienced it. Indigenous people have experienced it. Religious minorities have experienced it. So, it's not a new concept. I think it's important to remember that there are still 71 countries in the world where it's illegal to be gay or lesbian. In 11 of those countries, it's punishable by death. 15 of those countries, it's illegal to be trans or gender diverse. And these are not unknown countries, places like most of the Caribbean, actually. Lots of places. And we still see homophobia, transphobia, biphobia here in Canada, the United States, the UK, Australia, you name it. Oh, thanks, Lindsay. Welcome. A place of empathy. I love that. A place of empathy. What a great way to put it. And that's absolutely it. It's a place of empathy. Huh, that's neat. Give it up for Lindsay. Well done. In the book, I talk about a lot of examples of different homophobia and transphobic and biphobic acts. And I think, just in June, last month, here in Toronto, guy was brutally beaten on Toronto Island for being gay. That's the reality that we're living in. So it is still important to have that safe space. But I want to talk about how you create that safe space, because it's not an actual physical space, right? Like, it's not a room where you can go to and it's like, okay, you can be queer over here, but the rest of your facility, no, don't. You have to leave it at the door. Creating safe space is about creating a culture. It's about creating an environment where, talking with my hands, this is why I'm bleeding, where everyone can be themselves anywhere in your organization. And it's a mindset, it's a culture. And it's not that you're going to get everyone to buy in, but at least you can get most people to buy in. And part of that is policies and procedures, and making sure that you've got policies that specifically speak to LGBTQ2 plus inclusion and what safe space is and what zero tolerance is and all that. But policies and procedures can only go so far, because you can't legislate intelligence. You can't legislate empathy, to Lindsay's point. You have to educate people on the importance of safe space. Why does it matter? Why does safe space matter? How does it impact me as an individual? And there, really, the most important thing is around education and educating people on what safe space is and how they can create safe space. What's their role? Because everyone plays a role, right? We all play a role in creating that safe space. So I think it's really important that we all understand that role and engage in it. I don't want to give everything away that's in the book, because, Daddy needs to sell books. Hi, Brenda. Brenda from Nova Scotia has just said, safe space is where you can just be and feel everyone knows everyone belongs. Yeah, I hesitate on the word belongs. This was my education recently. Girl. You ever looked up the definition of the word belong? It means to be the property of. And there's been a whole move in, sorry, not to criticize Brenda. I learned this not too long ago because we were moving forward with a new offering called From Being to Belonging. And one of my Indigenous board members was like, yeah, no. Particularly for Indigenous people, for, hi, Sarah, welcome, for Black Afro-Caribbean people who have been property in history, there is a real objection to the concept of belonging. And I get what the intention is. I totally get it, because of course I was like, hey, you want to belong, right? I want to feel like I matter here. And it's going over like a lead balloon. There are lots of other things around safe space, whether it's symbolism and creating that environment. Like, LGBTQ2 plus people often are the invisible minority. So we're looking for a sign. We're looking for a rainbow flag shooting out of my head. We're looking for a pink triangle. We're looking for something that says this is a safe space. We're looking for celebrations, celebrating Pride, celebrating International Non-Binary Day. Non-Binary People's Day was Wednesday. Yesterday. Happy International Non-Binary People's Day. How awesome is that? Hey, Nikki, welcome. There are lots of days that you can celebrate. It doesn't just have to be Pride Month. Keep in mind, if you're LGBTQ2 plus, you are going to be that all year round. I am gay every day of the year. I do not take a day off. And so spreading it out to things like the International Trans Day of Visibility in March, International Day Against Homophobia, Biphobia, and Transphobia, May 17th, National Coming Out Day, October 11th. And there are just lots of different days that we could celebrate that really it's such a great way to send a message that this is a safe space. It doesn't just have to be June. And I really want corporations to get away from June. Pride is going to happen with or without you. But, on July 1st, when every logo on LinkedIn goes from rainbow, unicorns, puppies, joy to boring logo, like, okay, apparently I only matter in June. So lots to learn about safe space. I feel like I'm just blithering on at this point. Love to, if you've got any comments, feel free to share them down below. What safe space means to you. Ask a question. If you've got any questions, feel free to drop them in the chat. I'd love to answer any questions. If you are not following me, do follow me. Follow me. It's so easy. I am at the Michael Bach. And like I said, new book coming out, The Alphabet Soup, The Quintessential Guide to LGBTQ2 plus Inclusion, available March 29th, wherever you buy books, as long as they're selling mine. If they're not, burn them to the ground. Really. Just do not burn them to the ground. That was a joke. But you can also go to alphabetsoup.lgbt to find out more. We've got a great campaign going on right now. I know some of you have supported the book, and thank you for your support. Make sure that you share it on your social media. Again, alphabetsoup.lgbt. There's lots of swag. We've got some stuff going on. So would love to have you participate in that. I think that's enough. I think I've only had a sip of wine. I'm going to have another one. I'm in need. So yes, check it out, alphabetsoup.lgbt. And it's never too late, Lindsay. It's never too late. I don't know what that's in reference to. Thanks for tuning in. So glad you could stop by. Remember to share this on your social media platforms. Go to my website, michaelbach.com, and check out, sign up for my newsletter. Ooh, I got a new newsletter coming out. That's the other thing. My producers don't give me a list of things to talk about. Oh, Moira's got a question. Hello, Moira. I was about to sign off. Moira's making me work. In your work, how do you encourage companies to create safe space for employees? That's a good question. So I think creating safe space is, oh, sorry. I'll come back to you, Lindsay. So creating safe space is about a holistic approach, right? It's not enough to put up a sticker. It requires a whole bunch of pieces. So it requires education. It requires policies and procedures. It requires symbolism. It requires events. It requires a zero tolerance policy. It requires all of the pieces. And that's something you need to consider. Like one of the best examples I've ever seen is from the Ontario government. Believe it or not, something from the Ontario government was good. Called the Safe Space. What is it? It's the OPS Positive Space Training. So they actually take people that want to be positive space champions and put them through a training program on how to create safe space. And it's as I recall, it's like a 5 or 6 webinar, web-based learning that's recorded, and then you do a live session where you sort of integrate some of the learning. I think it really is a very robust. So, and then you get a pin, and you're able to put a sign up at your desk and say you're a safe space champion and and I think that's the type of commitment that employers need to make. It's not a one and done. It's not a here's a pin, best of luck, because of course I can say I'm a safe space champion and then I can say something really stupid and transphobic or whatever. So you got to make sure you prepare people. Visible things are good because, again, invisible minority, always looking for that symbolism, making sure that you're putting on those events and that you have a zero tolerance policy to deal with issues of homophobia, transphobia, and biphobia. The other thing I would say, more to your question, is that safe space for one is safe space for all. So it's not that you need a safe space program that exclusively focuses on LGBTQ2+ people. You need a safe space program. And that focuses on LGBTQ2+ people and women and people with disabilities and people of color and it is, we don't need our own safe space, but we need a safe space for all. And actually, Alberta Health Services has a campaign around safe space that is inclusive safe space. And I think that is the best way to go, because then it's not a special program. It's a culture. It's changing the way our cultures are. So take a look. You can Google it. It's Alberta Health Services Safe Space. If you Google that, I think you'll find it. Lindsay commented, her joke about too late was that she'd already burned all her books. Don't burn your books. Don't burn books, Lindsay. Any recommendations for gender and sexuality classifications for self-identification surveys? Oh, great question, Lindsay. This is difficult because it's a constantly evolving topic. And there is no perfect here. In fact, I have a whole chapter in the book on this. So you'll just have to get my recommendation, first of all, it's highly driven by technology. What can the technology do? But my recommendation is to be as inclusive as possible. So on sexuality, you, first of all, always ask the question separate. Sorry about that. So sexuality and gender or gender identity are always asked separately. Under sexual orientation, you obviously straight needs to be there, lesbian, gay, bisexual, queer, two-spirit. You might want to add in pansexual. You might want to add in polyamorous. But even if you just stuck with the initialism of LGBTQ2+, obviously leaving the T out because it's a gender identity. you're fine there. And then if you can have an option that says, hey, Josh, welcome. Thanks for stopping by. Another option that says, another sexual orientation not listed above, and then give them the ability to write an option in. Never say other. Other is just not a good thing because, of course, the concept of othering, which is, diminishes. And then on gender, this one is a little tougher. So think, obviously you want to include man and woman, transgender, non-binary, genderqueer. There are literally dozens and dozens of different genders that agender. Oh, asexual. That's the other one under sexual orientation. Asexual, agender. This is a long list, and it's constantly evolving. And there's debates, right? Like if I'm trans and I have transitioned, let's just say for sake of argument that I've transitioned from male to female or a man to a woman, that I then would identify as a woman. I know somebody who is trans, who was assigned male at birth, transitioned to a woman, but answers that question as woman. I think all you can do is give as many options as possible so that people find themselves in the list. You're never going to have the definitive list. If you ever want to see a out of control list, go to Facebook. They have 60 some odd options under gender. Out of control is the wrong term. I apologize. It's a long list. And they have 2 billion members. So they're getting some good data there. But when you're conducting a survey, then it can be really challenging to manipulate that data and analyze. But what you do is you roll it up. So you allow people to identify as lesbian, gay, bisexual, queer, two-spirit, asexual. You roll all those up to LGBTQ. So that way you get enough data so that you can analyze it. And the same on gender. It's not to say that the lived experience of a queer person is the same as a two-spirit person, but if you only have 2 people that identify as two-spirit, the data is just not valuable from a statistical perspective. So giving the ability to roll it up is a good thing. Nikki, to your question, you can subscribe at michaelbach.com. My newsletter goes out once a month. It's coming out soon. It may have come out today. I should know that. I don't send it out, so that's why. But you can go to michaelbach.com. On the first page, just scroll to the bottom. You'll see a sign up. It's very simple. And check it out. There you go. Look at that. That's a good long one. Thanks so much for stopping by. Good questions. I love answering questions. This is kind of my jam. Excuse me. If you haven't already, connect with me on social media. I'm the Michael Bach. And check out my new book, Alphabet Soup, The Quintessential Guide to LGBTQ2+ Inclusion, March 29th. But you can go to alphabetsoup.lgbt to find out more. And also check out some swag. Nikki got some. Sam got some. Thank you. There's going to be some pretty cool swag coming out as part of my crowdfunding campaign. My hair is disappearing in my green screen. Okay, that's it. Thanks so much, folks. Always great. Come back next Tuesday, as always, live at 5. I'll be talking about something. I don't even know what I'm talking about. And thanks so much. Appreciate it. We'll see you soon. Bye.